Hey everybody, PKFT1 here, and today I am sitting down with Blur once again. We haven't done a discussion video in quite a while, and I know people were talking about how they'd be interested in hearing more from us. So, as you probably already know, unless maybe you don't really keep up to tabs on the really recent stuff when it comes to Atlas, there's been a little bit of a barrage of news recently. And today we're just going to kind of speculate about some of the things that have recently come to our attention, primarily on Twitter and on various websites from Atlas accounts and perceived Atlas accounts. So if you guys don't know what's going on, let's first talk about let's talk about the Soul Hackers thing. So, and I'm not sure how much Blur knows about Soul Hackers.
I know it's another spin-off.
Yeah. So Soul Hackers, I haven't played it myself. It was originally, I think, a sequel to Devil Summoner of SMT. And it was a Sega Saturn game from what I remember. I think it was eventually ported to PS1, and then I think in like 2011 came out the 3DS. So what's interesting is randomly they posted a thing on, I think they created a website for what seems to be a new Soul Hackers game, but it's being very mysterious, and it's saying that on it set up a countdown website for some sort of event, and on February, I think 21st, they're supposed to unveil what this project actually is. And so they've had this very mysterious kind of countdown, and every now and then these like screenshots will appear. It kind of looks like you're looking through like a security camera, and you can kind of make out what's there, and it shows these 3D models of different things in like this room. Like there's a character sitting around on a couch. There's like a close-up of a box of pizza. Anyhow, these are character models that we haven't seen before. So I'm pretty sure whatever this title is, it's some sort of new game, because I don't think, some people have said they think it's an anime or they think it's a movie or whatever, but I don't think they'd be using these types of 3D models if it wasn't some sort of game. And as far as we can tell, it's also not connected to the original Soul Hackers. I was watching David Cast last night, and they were kind of going in depth about how whatever this group is that's supposedly running this countdown website, they go by the name of Aeon, and they're trying to, I guess, prevent the next catastrophic event for humanity. So kind of classic SMT motifs. But more interestingly, people found that actually the Soul Hackers stuff is actually going to be connected to a bunch of other Atlas pages. So they might do like a full takeover or something of all the websites for like the Persona website, and I think I don't know if it's the SMT5 website, but I wouldn't be surprised if they do something where they seem to hack into like all these different accounts, maybe to try to raise awareness of the series itself, because it's kind of a dormant IP. So I don't know. Does this raise your interest, being somebody who's never, played Soul Hackers or Devil Summoner? What is your interest level in this kind of announcement as primarily a Persona fan?
I think it's interesting. I don't know too much about it, but I would be okay with checking it out. If they, I think we're raising awareness for a lesser known spin-off IP is probably a good idea if they want to boost sales and stuff. And I mean, and it's all from Shin Megami Tensei, so it's like, hey, it's like not quite same universe, but like similar aspects of it.
Yeah.
So I think they're trying to like get Persona fans and just base Shin Megami Tensei fans interested in another IP, which I don't think is a bad idea, especially if they do it right and the game's fun.
Yeah, and I do think there is probably I don't know, there's something about the Shin Megami Tensei kind of fan base that has a very strong attachment to these old franchises that haven't been touched upon. Like there's, a pretty fervent Raito Kuzunoha fan base, and there are people who've been asking for new different games in the franchise, like Devil Survivor or Digital Devil Saga, whether it's ports or remakes or whatever it is. And if I remember right, one of the, I want to say, I don't know if it's the director of SMT5 or if it was one of the producers over there, but one of them was talking about how they had another announcement for this year in regards to SMT. So I imagine he was probably talking about this. The real question I think everybody has right now is, I think everybody kind of agrees that it's some sort of new game. But what people are really trying to figure out is it actually going to be like a console game, or is it going to be a mobile game? And I'm not very sure on either of those things. I could totally see it being a mobile thing. But they already have their SMT mobile game, so I don't know. But then again, mobile games are all the rage overseas, so it's really hard to say. And I'm honestly not the most up to date on my SMT knowledge, especially when it comes to something like Soul Hackers. But I am aware that it has a really cool like cyberpunk kind of aesthetic to it, and that it's probably one of the more I don't know, well-known spin-offs. But other people are also talking about how it's interesting that the website and the page is just referred to as Soul Hackers. It has no attachment to the Devil Summoner spin-off name. So it sounds like they're really trying to make Soul Hackers its own entity altogether, which I think is probably worth exploring. It just seems so odd that, it's how many years later since the original Soul Hackers came out? I want to say it came out in, 97, 98? Back when the Sega Saturn was still a thing. So, and they haven't had any sort of sequels since then, aside from some re-releases. So it's just so odd that now is the time that they decide to make their comeback. But that's also probably a good thing, because they can probably revitalize what the IP was originally. So do you have, before we move on to probably the thing we're actually really going to discuss, do you have any other thoughts or ideas about anything that has to do with Soul Hackers?
Not really. I don't know a whole ton about it. Like I remember learning about all the different spin-offs, but I didn't really look too much into them
Mm-hmm.
besides that, so I don't feel like I have much to say on what it could possibly be.
I'm very interested because I should say I'm a newer SMT fan, starting with I started I think with SMT4, then played SMT3, more recently been going through SMT5. So I haven't actually explored any of the other SMT spin-offs. I'm most aware of Devil Summoner and the Raito Kuzunoha games probably, but I'm not really familiar with any of the other spin-offs. I know of them, but I don't know much about them. So I'm very curious to see what the heck this ends up being. And if it's a console game, I'll definitely be very interested in it. And I might just have to check out the original Soul Hackers before it disappears from the 3DS store, since that's supposed to be closing next year.
Yeah, I did hear about that.
That's another thing is the value on a lot of like classic SMT stuff is already really high. So I can imagine once the digital storefront goes away, that a lot of those 3DS games physically are going to skyrocket in value. Then again, a lot of
Yeah.
stuff is going to skyrocket in value once the 3DS store closes. So I don't know. And then you also have like the PS3 store was going to close a few years ago, or maybe it was last year, and then they reversed that decision at least for a little bit. So, if you want to get your hands on all those games, those are probably some of the primary consoles to try to do so on. So,
Because otherwise it's going to be really hard to get them.
yeah, no kidding. Because, man, you really have to go to some weird consoles if you want to get the whole SMT catalog. I mean, you even have like SMT 9 that was an Xbox exclusive. So that was a really weird game. Anyhow, I'm getting off subject, but let's move on to kind of the big thing that everybody's talking about, aside from Soul Hackers. And that's this Persona 25th anniversary update. So we haven't talked about the Persona 25th anniversary. Have we even talked about it since it got announced?
No, because we made like some theories and stuff about like we talked about like when they released those card things we were completely wrong about.
That's right. That ended up being kind of
And then
embarrassing.
I think that was like the last time we talked about it.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah, because because we talked about those cards and we thought, oh, well, some of those cards are going to be revealed because they had those mysterious cards. And we thought the last one was going to be revealed to be like the P6 protagonist, but it turned out just to be like a group picture with all the characters or something. Which is fine. Don't get me wrong. However, the exciting news that we have finally is that there is this page that popped up on Twitter, and it's at P25th_Fes. So people found this page, and it's not attached to anything in particular that has to do with Atlas. But what really made it stand out was this banner art that's associated with it. And it looks, official. It's all the protagonists all lined up together against this wall. And they kind of have paint splatters all over themselves as if they've been committing this graffiti themselves. But anyhow, so people noticed that in association with the name. And then also it had on the page that there was going to be some sort of Persona 25th festival set to take place on the 28th of May this year in a town in Japan. It's called Tokorozawa Sakura Town. I don't know much about it. But a lot of people were trying to figure out if it was a legitimate account or not, because some of the information was so specific in association with what appeared to be official art. Now, when you first saw this blur, what were your thoughts? Did you immediately think it was real, or did you think that maybe it was just a fan-made thing?
I kind of was leaning more on the side that it was probably real because, like, the art. I was like, I remember because you sent me the link and I was like, I haven't seen that art before, and it looked pretty official to me. I was like, I mean, I have seen some really good fan art that like tries to emulate the style, but this just seemed different. So I thought it was more on the side of real, but I was just gonna wait to see what people actually said or found out.
Yeah, that's essentially how I went too, because I don't like jumping the gun always. I figured I'd give it some time before I talked about it, which is why we're talking about it now. However, there have been some developments since. I'm going to kind of run you through them. Sorry, I feel like I'm just kind of taking over this discussion. But
You're okay.
somebody did some more research into this account. I believe it was specifically, I don't know how you pronounce their name. Panhime Salty. Well, they just go by the tag at regular panties on Twitter. And she actually does some pretty good investigative kind of stuff when it comes to coding and whatnot. Ironically enough, she actually has the profile picture of the Codename X lady, hacker lady. Anyhow, she claims that the P25th account is real, and that there's a website also associated called p25thfest.jp. And she said that the site is registered to Kadokawa. I'm not exactly sure. I'm not sure if that's a company or a person. I think it's a company. And they say the Twitter is too. They say the site registered on January 31st and put on name servers early today. This was, I think, yesterday. She says there's a .com version for likely security purposes, and she said that they also owned the mega104.jp URL, or at least they did at some point, but then it transferred to Atlas. And so basically, she's backing up the idea that this is a legit Twitter account, and that there's also going to be a website associated with it, and that the place that the festival is being held at is also owned by this same company. And they also own like Famitsu and Nico Nico and From Software. So I guess I don't know if they're just a big conglomerate or what they are. Regardless, the point is it seems it's real, and that we can expect some sort of Persona 25th festival event on May 28th. Of course, that's Japan time. So now that I've given you all this information, Blur, do you have any theories as to what the heck, A, what this event is, and B, do you think that this has anything to do with the February announcement?
I think it's possible we could hear something really soon because we're coming up near the end of February, and if they're setting this stuff up, I feel like they'd have to announce it soon if this festival is real to like sell tickets and things. Because normally, they do that for like their concerts to give people time to buy.
Mm-hmm.
Because I assume that they're gonna sell like tickets or something if it's gonna be like in an actual location, if they're gonna do like an event sort of thing.
Yeah. And what I'm a little bit surprised that they're doing an event like this, because I think the COVID restrictions in Japan are pretty heavy still. But then again, I think they just did like the third version of the stage show for Persona 5. So I don't know. Who knows? But yeah, I think you're
Maybe they
probably right.
have a limited number of people. Maybe they only have limited tickets.
Mm-hmm. So it looks like this would be like right before E3 time that they'd be doing this Persona 25th festival.
Which would make sense. Atlas always announces their own things kind of just whenever they want to.
Yeah, for sure.
So I could see us getting actual like Persona news then. Whether it's a new game, I'm not sure. I still think that might be their last announcement. Is like a new Persona game, like Persona 6. Or if we just hear about it, it's just like it's in development and then that's all we hear about it. Though they might talk more about like whatever their next project is, whether it's like another remake or like a spin-off like what they kind of did or I guess like a re-release or something. Like they could talk about just a lot of Persona stuff. Like it might just be a celebration of Persona, like just something fun for fans. Who knows if we'll get anything new from it.
Yeah, I find it very odd, specifically that what seems to be the primary event of this entire. I'm assuming this will be the biggest event of the entire celebration of the 25th anniversary, is kind of smack dab. Well, maybe not in the middle. It's closer to the end, but it would still be before the the Persona 25th anniversary announcements end, since it goes till I think September of this year. It just seems odd that they would do an event in May and then also have subsequent, announcements after. So I don't know, maybe they'll tease stuff in this event for what they'll announce later. Who knows?
They could tease because the concert showed a bit of Strikers and Royal, but only like a little bit. And then we heard more about it later as it got further in development.
Right.
So we could get something very similar.
Yeah.
Or even smaller. We might not even get like something as big as like what they got. But I mean, for Royal, all we got was like Kasumi's back.
That's true. Yeah.
Well, I think that was before the concert. I think at the actual concert they did show more. I think.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, we got the full intro, didn't we?
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. They could totally set it up where they do one of their teasers for a teaser and do a teaser for a teaser at this event, and then like maybe their last announcement will be like I don't know, Persona 6 or something if we're going to talk
I mean,
crazy.
we have to consider that because it is Atlas. Atlas loves doing that.
Hmm.
They're like setting us up. It's like, get excited, an announcement's
Well,
coming.
what's even weirder is like you have this, and some people were talking, and they're like, "Do you guys think that this is the February announcement? That there's an event in May?"
I feel like that is the
I,
announcement.
if I'm gonna be honest, I would not be surprised if this is the announcement for February, and that
I
maybe it'll
think
be
it is. I think
accompanied.
it is the
I
announcement.
think it'll be accompanied by some smaller things, but I wouldn't be
Hmm.
surprised if we have to wait till like May and then they announce like a few ports at this event and then they save like one
Yeah.
last thing for like fall. I don't know.
Yeah.
That just seems like something Atlas would do, right? Like make an announcement of
It
an
is, yeah.
event.
No, I feel that's pretty accurate. Like, I don't think we're gonna get like an announcement of that, and then I could be wrong. Watch them prove me wrong. And then like some kind of game announcement. Sorry, that's my dog.
Yeah, because you think about how small the past two announcements have kind of been. And I just, I mean, with this being on the horizon, and May is such a weird period to pick too, because it's like right on the verge of being June, but also if we were following the pattern, which has been like every 2 months, there's been an announcement. So you had the first announcement, which was just like merchandise in September. December, you had Persona 4 Arena Ultimax. And then now, let's say in February, the announcement would be for an event that takes place in May, which is a stupid announcement to like set up as your February announcement. Um, and then you 2 months after February, of course, would be April. So it's like, why would you even announce anything in April at that point, or would you just hold off until May? But it's at the very end of May, so it'd basically be like waiting double the time we usually wait for announcements. Plus, on top of that, if this is the February announcement, that would have been an announcement for an announcement. So it would have been like 6 months that we're waiting. Anyhow, do you think there's any chance that there's more to this February announcement than just this event coming up in May?
Um, I honestly think that that just will be the announcement. I could be wrong. They could also just do a side announcement because I mean they did um the Persona 4 Arena. They could also announce something like similar like that.
Because I know a lot of people have been talking about P4G consoles, um, which seems like a really easy thing for them to do. And it seems like obviously it's only a matter of time until that actually happens.
Mhm.
But I don't know. Do you think that could still happen, maybe even this month? Or do you think that's something that they would save for a future announcement?
Uh, I think they might save it, honestly. Because if they are doing a big festival, it seems like you would do a lot of announcements then, like where you're gonna have a big live audience.
Right. That's kind of how I
Like
feel.
at least that's how I feel like they would do it, you know?
Yeah. I think yeah, I think this is going to be the main crux of the entire Persona 25th anniversary, if I had to guess.
Yeah, I guess so. I assume that that means like there won't be a concert. Maybe they'll have music there though.
Right. Yeah, they totally could because we still don't actually know. Other than the location, we have no idea as to what style of venue it's supposed to be, and who knows? Maybe it's just going to be an open bar for people to just talk about Persona, and there's no announcements whatsoever there. Who knows?
That's true. It could be something like that.
But I'm guessing that it's probably going to be, an event for fans to attend where they will probably have some sort of music, and then some sort of announcements. Maybe in the style of like, you remember that Sonic event they did like back in, I want to say it was like 2016 when they announced like Sonic Mania and Sonic Forces.
Yes, that was at Summer of Sonic. Though they did that like they used to do it every year until like a few years ago where they stopped. And then also COVID, so
I feel like it might almost be in that kind of style where it's a little more laid back because I
hmm
feel like otherwise this would probably be a concert, but I don't know. Who I could be wrong.
Yeah, if they do it like Summer of Sonic, where it was just a bunch of fans and they let some people set up like booths and things, and they had like voice actors come, and
Yeah.
they also talked about like I think like at least for Summer of Sonic, I think that's also where they talked more about like the Sonic Boom TV show.
Yeah. So, I think I think this is probably going to be the February announcement. I can just see it, that being the big update. I will be interested, though, to honestly get a little more context as to what this thing is. As to when it's going to be announced, I've heard speculation that maybe we might hear about it on sometime Monday Japan time, but that would be, I think, Sunday here in the US. So we could maybe hear Sunday evening what the heck this thing is. Because the website, I also forgot to mention, the Persona website was updated, the 25th anniversary site. And specifically the news section was updated. So it seems like any day now, they're just going to update the website. I do find it odd that they're making it supposedly, well, I mean, I guess we don't know, but more than likely it's going to be a really close announcement to the Soul Hackers announcement. Like they're probably only going to be a few days apart, if I had to guess. And Atlas doesn't usually like to do that, which is why I find it so weird that I mean, this year specifically for Atlas is going to be kind of crazy because you've got 13 Sentinels coming out on Switch.
Maybe it's like something they can't kind of help since they're doing a big
Yeah,
anniversary thing for Persona. So it's just like we have other projects we still have to announce. So it's
right.
like they probably can't space all of them out.
But what's crazy to me is you got 13 Sentinels coming out on Switch. You've supposedly got some Persona announcements this year. You've also got Persona, Arena Ultimax coming out next month. Then you've got this Soul Hackers thing going on. And on top of that, there's been heavy rumors that we're going to get Project ReFantasy announced this year as well. And that's apparently pretty far in development. Plus, whatever else Persona is announcing. Like, we could get Persona 6. Let's just say some crazy thing happens and we get Persona 6 announced by the end of the year. You could have a ton of Atlas titles, may not release this year, but announced this year. Plus, who knows, maybe SMT5 is getting DLC sometime soon. You never really know. And it's just, I feel like things are going really crazy. But I think part of that is because the pandemic has backed so many projects up that a lot of stuff is just going to like come full force, like at the same time. So
Yeah.
I don't know, but it's going to be, I have a feeling as we get closer to the end of the year, it's going to get really crazy with Atlas stuff. There's going to be so much to have to like talk about that we're not going to know what to talk about.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel you. There's gonna be like a ton, or there's gonna be not as much as we hoped.
That's true, because we're still waiting on any sort of information on that Codename X thing. I have been sitting here like so nervous.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, we haven't heard
Like
anything
if
about
we
that. I
were
almost
ever
forgot
right about
that.
that or not. Because now I'm like kind of 50-50 on whether it really is official or not. Um, it seems odd that they would have announced that so long ago at this point and us not have heard an update by now. But
That's true.
I don't know. When did that get announced? Was that in the summer?
I think it was.
I don't know. It's been a long time. I don't even think most people even remember it. Um, I would be interested
Yeah,
to
well,
get
it
an update
happened
on
at this
that.
just random event too, so.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it just, nothing came of it.
Yeah. Do you have any other thoughts on the 25th anniversary? Anything that we've neglected to mention or talk about?
Well, I think we covered all the news that happened, so unless something else came up that we're missing. But no, I mean, I'm excited to see what the announcement is, no matter what it is. Because I think last time we were pretty disappointed because all it was is just like, oh, the Persona animes and movies will be on TV, but only in Japan.
And then we had that, surprise announcement at the Game Awards with
Okay, that was actually
although
fun.
what's weird about that, the Persona 4 Arena Ultimax, they've done like literally zero advertising for that game since it got announced.
That's true.
And some people have mentioned that that game isn't going to have a physical copy. So
Oh.
it's only going to be released digitally. I think it's getting a physical copy in Japan, but not overseas. So yeah, unfortunately, it'll just be digital, I think, unless something changes. But I haven't heard. Also, you still can't pre-order it, apparently, even though it comes out next month.
Still can't pre-order
As far
it?
as I know, that's what I've heard. But
Well, when it comes out, we'll have to play it together.
yeah, I feel stupid though, because like I bought all the characters in Cross Tag Battle, which has like all the P4 cast.
Uh-huh.
And
Oh
I feel
no.
kind of
Oh, you
stupid now
did.
because I bought like a ton of them, and I'm like, I probably paid more just to get these characters into Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle than I would have if I just waited to get Arena Ultimax when it comes out. Oh well. But yeah, I think that's gonna pretty much do it. If you guys know anything else or you have any theories, feel free to leave them down in the comments below. And we'd be very interested to hear what you guys think. If you guys actually have better like ideas of what you think the February announcement's even going to be, because I don't know. I'm just guessing that because this is popping up right around when it seems they're going to update the website, that this very well could be the announcement. And never underestimate Atlas's ability to disappoint you. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I try to keep my expectations like in check.
Right.
Like I think it's fun to speculate. Like there's no harm in speculating, like hoping things could be really cool, but at the same time we have to be aware it's like, well, it's also Atlas, like what's reasonable for them to do.
Yeah.
And they still have other announcements coming, so or projects or whatever that may be. So though it could just be more advertising like merchandise or something. But
Yeah. I think they just announced yesterday there are like some Persona Q pins or something, acrylic pins that are coming out.
and they're still making like Figmas and statues
Oh
and
yeah, because they just announced I think it was like a Maya and Tatsuya uh Nendoroid.
also Persona 3
Oh, that's
protagonist
right. Yeah,
Nendroid.
Mikoto. That's right.
Hmm.
So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, they just recently announced that that was cool.
So, but yeah, if you guys are looking for stuff, I mean, if you're not already, you should probably check out. Now I'm already forgetting the name of it. What the heck is it? Persona Central. I mean, they're always on top of
Yeah.
this stuff, and I'm sure if you follow them, you'll find out about all the little minor bits of news that kind of fall through the cracks of stuff that we don't cover. So, anyhow, well, thank you guys for hanging out with us for a little bit, and you'll probably hear from us fairly soon after whatever this February announcement is, or if they go into detail on the Persona 25th festival. We'll definitely talk about that whenever it happens. So, thanks so much for listening, guys, and we will see you later.